lie. Welcome to the players' loud. Yeah, when no other moment, man, it can't.
The 48-hour rule is now in effect. Welcome to the 48-hour rule, a UteNation podcast. Well, guys, 2-0. It's expected, right? But man, I'm interested to see how everybody's feeling in the next little bit here going into Wyoming week. Got some new guests on the show. So before we kick into everything, once again, I'm your host, Alex Markham. I'm here to just kind of guide the conversation again. Like I say constantly, nobody wants to hear from me. Everybody wants to hear from the guys on the screen. So as usual, we got Zack joining us, Tuimauga, and also this week we got former Utes Blechen and Terrell Burgess. How you doing, guys?
Good, man. Thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm glad we got two safety pride members in here. We're rolling.
Hey, we appreciate having you guys take the time. So kind of give everybody a little rundown. We got Terrell over there that is in the league with the Saints, kind enough to carve out some time with us. Always active, always, just willing to engage on social media. I know the Ute fans love that. And BYU fans kind of hate it a little bit, so we can kind of talk about that a little bit, right, man? But and then Brian over here, he is the defensive coordinator for the Utah Islanders, who he claims that they're getting better, but I'm just going to put it out right off the bat, guys. They gave up 59 points in week 1.
Don't worry,
Love you, buddy.
Hey, it's our first year. It's our first year. All right. Hey, you know what? We had a bye this weekend. And this is the sad part. We had a bye this weekend, this past weekend, because the team we were supposed to play in Idaho called and said, "Oh, your D-line's too good. Like, we can't play you guys." Just off of the tape of us losing 59-7 to Snow. They saw that tape and still called and said, "We can't play you guys."
What?
So there's some bad programs out there. Like, there's really levels to it, dude.
Jeez. So everybody listening, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, Brian's feed is going to come in a little bit different because he's taking the time, being kind to do this in his car with us before he jumps over into practice. So he's actually going to be cutting out at one point here. But we just appreciate the time you're able to carve, man, and just looking forward to getting you on whenever it's possible this year because, guys, he was supposed to jump on the week that they gave up the 59 points and Trevor Riley put him on film duty. So
Yeah, you know how it is the day after a loss.
Black, if you can give a little insight, like we were asking a couple questions about the whole Utah Islanders thing because it's a kind of a new concept. It's a new organization. I think it's kind of cool because there's a bunch of former U players that are helping the coach. I think some BYU guys, or maybe not anymore. But if you can give some insight to it and also just the roots, I think it's hella cool how a lot of our guys have gone to coaching through that route.
It's a fun concept. I'm looking forward to it, man. And yeah, I can't wait for you to just fill everybody in on it.
Yeah, so the Islanders is officially we are Salt Lake Community College, Utah Islanders, because our guys that, want to stay or eventually go play college football, they've got to do credits and we send them to Slick. There's other guys that aren't in school, they do a trade school. And, we've got an academic advisor, matter of fact, Kinney, who's been at the U forever. So he really knows what he's doing as far as making sure these guys are good off the field. And then on the field, we're a new team. We got about 55 guys. And, all ages. We have a couple old guys, that probably would be too old for the NCAA, but no, we had to go get a tackle, and we got a 6'7", 315-pound ex-basketball player who does bodybuilding, and he's like 27. He's great. He flies to every game instead of taking the bus. He's like, "No, I'm too big." So he gets himself a flight. But yeah, no, we are not NCAA sanctioned, which is good for athletes, because it's not going to start your clock no matter how many. You could come start the whole season for us, and you still got 4 years and a red shirt if you wanted to go to BYU or Utah the next year. So I think it's, a nice little loophole. There's lots of kids coming out of high school that, might just need one more year of development, tape, whatever it may be, if they had an injury senior season. But it's just a nice team, and we got great coaches.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you were telling everybody before we hit record on this, you joined the team 3 weeks before the start of the season, and so what's been cool to see is that it's a work in progress, right? But at the same time too, you guys are making good progress, and you guys have the right guys in place, and it just so happened that it ended up being closer to the season, but it's a program that's on the right trajectory and in good hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job. The owner did, as far as they lost their head coach, most of their staff, I guess, towards the end of spring ball, and maybe June or so. I think he hired Trevor Riley as the GM. So Trevor, hit me up late June, early July, but he went out and got me, Senny, to run our D line. We also have what's his name? Terrell Mack, former linebacker, running back at the U. Terrell just started helping out, coaching our linebackers. So no, it's going really good. And yeah, this season will be, a tough one. But I'm excited to, have a full year, get a spring ball, to really, bolster our roster up, come next season.
Love it, man.
Y'all gonna turn it around.
And then Terrell, dude, so with the New Orleans Saints now, man, you are quite the story, and it's something I want to dive into a little bit more in the next little bit here. But kind of fill everybody in what's been going on with you, and I mean, I know that some things are paused for you a little bit right now, but it's all positive things, and it's kind of nice for you that, again, we were talking before we jumped on here that there's some stability for you, right? Where it's like you can take care of the things that you need to take care of, and you're good, man. You're respected in that league.
Yeah, no, I think it's always a blessing to have an opportunity to be able to continue playing the game that you love. And I was blessed with an opportunity back in May to come out here and work out with the team or do a workout for the team. Was able to do well enough in the workout for them to sign me, and then now I'm on P squad right now. I pulled my hammy the third week of camp. Things happen, you know what I'm saying? But I'll be should be hopefully back practicing here soon. Getting a chance to maybe get some burn in the game and make something happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm blessed to be here. I mean, I've bounced around a little bit in the league, with a few years in LA and then a couple other teams after that. But yeah, no, I love playing the game. Don't know how many more years I want to play. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a toll on your body, you know what I mean? But I think as a whole, I think I've had so much fun playing to people I've met along the way that even when I'm done playing, years down the road, I think I know I'll be okay. And I know I'll still have a brotherhood in whatever team I played for.
Now, you mentioned the brotherhood. So really fast before we kick into everything, because this is stuff that I like asking everybody, right, when they first jump on, right? And then, just want to kind of kick into a few topics with everybody, get Zack and Derek a little bit more involved here before those guys fall asleep over here on us, right? But Derek, you got your cup this week or no, buddy?
No, man, you holding it down. It's only Monday.
You're slacking, man. Terrell, Brian, you know what this is, right?
No. Kava.
Yeah. There you go.
What?
So
Okay.
Hey, somebody's gotta have this every time we do a 48-hour rule podcast. All right. That's the rule. That's what it is, dating way back to the Mac to the Coach Mac and the Mafu days. So what I want to hear from you guys, because Terrell, you segued perfectly on that, man. You brought up brotherhood. So whoever wants to go first, what I want to hear, the 48-hour rule, the Utah program's unique in the first place, right? There's the family aspect, the whole brotherhood that you guys are talking about. The 48-hour rule, when it started clear back with McBride and it kept going through Whittingham and everything, it's been really unique, and it's been something that's really kind of helped develop that family atmosphere, right? And everybody has their different ways of doing it with locking in those 48 hours before the game. So what does something like that mean to you guys, just from a cultural standpoint, and maybe kind of take me through you guys' preparation and approach within those 48 hours leading up to the game, and why that makes Utah different?
I would say, like, one thing I had never even thought, like, going into college, I never even thought about the 48-hour rule. Never even something that ever like crossed my mind. But I will definitely say that it has translated to how I approach like games in the NFL. I think it's always been something that I've kept in my mind, not necessarily because they said it, but it was just like it became a natural thing to kind of like get really locked in, like going into like stepping into the 48 hours. But I think just as a whole, I think everybody knows. Obviously, you said you got Kava over there. Obviously, that's a tradition over there for years, for many years or things like that. But I think it's just like an opportunity for everybody as a whole to just know that, it's time to lock in. We know we got business to take care of this weekend, and just for everybody to do it together. I mean, obviously everybody has their own routines, but I think as a whole, it really allowed us to, for the simple way to say it, just lock in and be together as a team.
Yeah. No, I liked the 48-hour rule. Still one thing that I didn't know until, I got to Utah, but I remember Coach Witt always talking about the 2 nights before. So it's a Saturday game. He said that Thursday night sleep is more important than Friday night sleep. And no, I stayed up late a couple Thursday nights for sure. But no, I liked actually, I liked getting good sleep Thursday, because I usually didn't sleep that good or would stay up too late when I'm in the hotel Friday night, just, thinking about the game and stuff. So that was my favorite part about 48-hour rule. And no, I did like, though, what Terrell said about, whatever you're doing, whether it's going to dinner, going to mix with the boys. But I just like the team aspect of it, and that's really when, you kind of feel that, hey, it's us, and we're about to go to war here in 2 days. Us and no one else. Put on your blinders.
For sure. Now, I mean, Terrell, I can see you behaving a little bit. I'm sure that everybody's probably got some stories of Brian back in the day on the team mixers when they were doing stuff, but we'll keep that for off air, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was a good kid, but Zack, he was a bad one. So yeah, go ahead and let him tell you about his little 48 hours.
Oh no, Zack, dude, we haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, it's nothing to hear. But I just like piggybacking off what Terrell and Blake said, just like thinking about like 40 hours, because I touched on it before, but like they just brought up some more thoughts that I didn't even think about then. But like obviously, like always going to movies, like we always had movie night. Coach Way always made that a staple. So like even doing those things, locking in that way, just being around the guys, going to movies, not just home games, which would have been super easy to do, but he always made sure that we had them at away games and everything like that as well. So like thinking about those type of things, it definitely helped us bond a lot more. Because you don't get those things in the league, like unless you might hang out with 3-4 dudes that you are super cool with, depending on also if you knew them in the past or how long you've been there, right? Like those type of things just aren't super natural and aren't consistent or realistically going to happen. And coaches in the league don't go out of their way to do those type of things, because you got so many different things going on in the league. Guys have families and X, Y, and Z. So, but like the brotherhood, I think that's why we've always all been able to stay, so close together, still talk, still, pick up, like, you see a guy after there's been a year or 2 or 3, some 5, right? And it's like nothing, you didn't miss any time. And I think that was just all those Thursday nights, Friday nights, every day kind of throughout the week, just being in the locker room and going to war with each other.
Well, guys, let's let's kick into just everything everybody wants to hear about right now, right? They love hearing about that stuff, but we got football season. We're 2 weeks in. With everything that you've both had going on, I don't know how much you guys have been able to watch any of the games. I know that you guys have kind of kept tabs on it from a distance. Zack, you kind of had the post game the other day. Haven't heard from Derek yet on this, but really just kind of curious everybody's thoughts. It can be on the first 2 weeks. It can be, just dealing with the previous game against Cal Poly. But how's everybody feeling about this team so far?
I think they're playing really well. I think, especially coming off of last season, a lot of us, people outside of the building, a lot of us, probably felt not too happy about how last season goes. And obviously injuries happen and things like that with the way the season went. But, I never wavered. I was always still a Ute fan through the wins and the losses. You know what I mean? But I think I'm happy with the way they're playing right now. First 2 weeks, offense and defense side of the ball, I think has played really well. Obviously, playing DB in college and, being a part of Safety Pride, and I played corner as well in college. I think I'm always going to pay attention to the DBs, and I think I'm excited to see how they are tested over the next few weeks. I think there haven't been too many things down the field or just like too many like great quarterback play that they've played in the last 2 games. Not that they don't have Cal Poly and UCLA don't have good quarterbacks, but I think that they haven't had too many tests so far. So I'm excited to see how that goes. And yeah, but I think as a whole, they're playing pretty well. Obviously, new offense in the building. And I think so far, so good. So I have no complaints.
That's one of the things that Zach's kind of mentioned, especially on the post game the other day, is he wants to see a few more shots downfield from Utah. Really haven't seen enough of that yet. But I feel like it's coming. You just want that reassurance that it's there, because everything else with the offense is looking good right now. Zack, just based off of everything from the post game, I mean, did you see anything else, just from kind of sitting back and letting everything marinate that you want to see a little bit more of, or something that you were just that much happier about?
No, I think it was all the same. Honestly, like even Coach Witt in his press conference today talked about, getting some more passes downfield, right? That type of stuff with the passing game coming along. Like it's always, for me, it's always easy to hear people talk about like you said, like it's coming, right? But like versus UCLA and now Cal Poly, those are the games I think that you would have loved to see it at a high clip. That way now when you get into conference play, when you're playing much better talent overall and things are getting schemed up for you better, then if there's a decrease, right, then it's like, okay, it makes more sense. Not seeing it so much versus UCLA and Cal Poly. Yes, we saw, a few more explosive plays versus Cal Poly, but it's Cal Poly. Burgess said it's not, not trying to not take a slight on their quarterbacks, but I was at the Cal Poly game. It ain't much to see. I could have played quarterback and it would have probably looked the same. I mean, in all the most respectful way, but still, you just got to be honest when you're talking about, the game. So, for me, I still want to see that. Coach Witt mentioned that in his press conference today. Like, everybody wants to see that part of the game. Everything else looks great. Like, we know we can run the ball. You also mentioned both of those guys still essentially not pulling away from each other and still being a committee, which is fine, because I think, like I said, it's a 3-headed monster, essentially how you're looking at the run game right now. And the main thing about the run game is it doesn't always need to be one person, but, all 3 of those guys have been really, really efficient. So if you're getting really efficient run game, you're getting 5-6 yards of carry, and you stand in front of the sticks, playing in second and shorts, essentially, and then getting to that 3rd and 1, you can go for it whenever you kind of want to. It's kind of like, not saying they're the Eagles in no way, shape, or form, but just that play style, like continuously running the ball on first down and getting good yardage on first down and having that success, because they just push themselves in a perfect position, right? Especially when you have a guy who could run for 1,000 yards at the quarterback position. You get into 2nd and short, 3rd and shorts, you can open up the entire playbook and it not just be okay, we may be going to run the ball with our running backs here. So
For sure.
outside of that, I really, don't see anything they've done that you have question marks about, right? Like the defenses looked really good. Obviously, like Terrell said, like seeing those guys get tested more, I think they might get tested a little bit more out there in Wyoming. I've heard that Wyoming seems like it's going to be a hostile environment. It sounds weird, but
it's a crazy place, man.
I keep hearing that. Like it just, at first it was like whatever, but now I just keep seeing more people talk about, that environment down there. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you remember, just when we played, maybe it was 2018 when we had to go to NIU. NIU was rough. It wasn't no cakewalk.
I'll jump in. Black, I don't know if because did you play at Wyoming? Did you ever go play at Wyoming? Away game?
Yeah, I went to Laramie.
So there might be a lot of Blechens, that are maybe had a lot of intoxicated Coors Lights before that game. They get after it. Those fans, they get into it. I don't know, Black, if you had any insight from Wyoming.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
No, Blake. Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say was, they had tough players that wanted the challenge, and their fans did too. Their fans. I remember at halftime, we were walking back to the locker room, and it goes along the side of the bleachers, and they were dumping beers on us, like just straight on our whole team, and talking crap, talking because it was only halftime, but no, it's a fun place to play. You know what I mean? Just because you can feel like they're not afraid, and they come out with a little bit of swagger, so it's fun to go there and hear their fans chirping and go there and shut them up. It's fun.
One of my all-time favorite Coach Whittingham moments was in 2008. The Wyoming coach, he was feeling himself. He was talking, with a lot of confidence, and said something about like, we're gonna take it to Utah. And I'm sure Alex remembers this. Like, we just saw, and then Witt just got flipped off on the sideline by the coach, and yeah, they just come after you.
Context, okay? Because I know I talked about this on one of the other episodes, okay? Joe Glenn guaranteed a victory to the students at a pep rally, okay? Kyle took it personal. Kyle ends up running up the score. Kyle decides to kick an onside kick either right before or right after halftime when Utah's already like 40-something and nothing.
Yeah, you don't get a middle finger for that.
I mean,
onside kick.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
It was hilarious. That was Coach Witt. He wasn't feeling that promise, but
no. And then the best part was the next Monday. Kyle goes into the press conference right after the game, being cocky Kyle, right? And then he comes into the Monday press conference. And he's just full of regret. Apparently, Jamie Whittingham ended up letting him have it. He kind of came back down to earth.
That's funny. I'm curious. I'll get to like my recap and feedback, but I'm curious since we do have Safety Pride on the call. You guys Terrell. You talked a little bit about the defensive backs maybe getting more tested as the weeks go on. But there was a lot of I just seen on Twitter from when I was on after the game, a lot of I'll be nice, just like intrigued fans, I'll say passionate fans saying like, man, our secondary is kind of the low point of our defense right now. And it kind of like made me scratch my head. I was like, where and like, what are you seeing? And so I don't know if you guys saw any of that, if you guys have any insight, but I'm sure that's kind of big on a lot of fans' minds. And Alex, Zack, I don't know if you guys saw some of those comments as well.
Was that before those comments or after my man's pick six this weekend?
It was after. It was like after the game, bro. I was like really confused.
What the heck? I think they got a lot of good DBs.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Even the whole defense, offense. One thing I liked this game was like even in the second half, the drop off didn't seem like that bad. Or when the twos came in, he messed up his assignment. No, people as a team, all three phases, I was impressed with just seeing guys doing their job. They had a great game. They looked crisp.
Yeah, I think as a whole, I think they did a pretty good job. Like, that's why I said the whole testing part, because I'm sure people were probably talking about that one play where the tight end got he broke free and it was like an overthrown or something like that, incomplete. And then I'm sure they probably brought up the play with was it Tal Johnson against UCLA with the running back. My thing is like, listen, more often than not, there's gonna come a time when both of those situations happen. Obviously, we'd like to have somebody on the body with the tight end deep in the field or not get quote unquote trucked in the middle of the field. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Scally used to talk about that all the time. He used to always say, like, it's not if it's gonna happen, it's when it's gonna happen and how you're gonna respond with it. And I think like sometimes he always taught like limit the damage. And I think when things like that happen, like you gotta limit the damage, next play mentality, especially with the deep route. But I think you can't really base like how they're playing based off of a couple plays that are like broken coverages. Like that's like in us, let's say how many plays they play in a game? 70. In the 70 play game, there's bound to something to quote unquote go wrong. You know what I mean? So let's just say like I'm behind them, and I think they're gonna do really well this season.
You made a comment about getting trucked, Case. So I can't let this go on the podcast. I got to give a shout out to Cole Bishop for absolutely getting trucked last night on Monday Night Football by Derrick Henry. That's one of those where it's like, what's coming, just like somebody getting posterized dunked on a dunk, right? It's just like there's nothing you can do about it. That was, oh man,
on the backside of a Derrick Henry run, don't worry about it, bro. Honestly, you gotta put the effort, right? And he gave the effort. He got stiff arm. Derrick hit him with the OG stiff arm, but like when he stiff armed him, he bounced off the turf. Like he boom off the turf.
We're not gonna do Cole like this.
I know.
I'm gonna have to go see the play
but they kept replaying it. They kept replaying it. I'm like, yo, they replayed it at least 6 times.
It might be the most replayed sports clip on Twitter over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, like they replayed it like 6 times. But I was like, you know what, bro? You on the backside. It ain't nothing you can do. Like, you not finna make that tackle. Like, I was there when, I don't know if you guys remember when he stiff armed Josh Norman. Like, he threw him like 5 yards ahead to the sideline. Yeah. And I was at that game, and I was like, bro, he just stiff armed a grown man. Like, essentially Cole still is younger. He ain't got no kids and nothing like that. So it's like it's okay a little bit. But it's like when he did that to Josh Norman, like at that point, bro, what can you do, right? You can't do much about it. Like, just don't let nobody else do that, right? If it's Derrick Henry, it's like whatever, it's gonna happen. Like,
right.
The best safety has gotten their ass stiff armed by Derrick Henry.
I didn't see it, but I'm sure he won't let it happen again.
To Derrick Henry, he has no choice. Anybody else?
Yeah, he has no choice.
Like you said, limit the damage. Anybody else, limit the damage.
Whatever.
Derrick Henry, just
get him down.
Just jump. You gonna get stiff arm. Just jump. Like, don't even worry about it. But
boys, I gotta.
Hey, Brian, I know you got to bounce real fast, but give me a 30-second thing on Jackson Bennee and your thoughts on him, man.
Bennee, dude, he might be up there just off the top of my head for like maybe one of the best walk-ons ever. As far as I don't know if he still is a walk-on. I hope not, because he don't play like it. But no, he's both sides of the ball. He can flat out, he can run. I didn't know, until I really watched this game, I didn't realize, how well he can run. And yeah, no, I think, he's a huge piece. I like, him, and I like Smith too, the way, those guys are doing so much different things for us. I think it's probably making Coach Scalley's job fun.
For sure. Well, dude, we appreciate you taking time, man. I know I know you were kind of rushing here, so go ahead and jump off. Let's get you back on soon, man, because I love your insight, dude. And for those that don't know, Brian's been doing some training on the side as well for high school and just younger kids, and he's killing it. Everybody I talk to absolutely loves what he's been doing over at Protect Trenches. So yeah, if anybody's got kids that want to look more into that, definitely do. Brian's one of the best when it comes to it. But dude, let's get you back on here really soon here, man. Let's talk about some Islander wins and plenty of Ute wins too, huh?
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me. Can't wait to do it again.
You gonna say something, Black, or were you?
No. Oh, maybe.
Never mind.
We was talking about Derrick Henry stiff arms, and reminded me the backup quarterback for the U, Bird Ficklin, had on his touchdown run. He did a little Derrick Henry throw by a stiff arm and then finished the run.
See?
So yeah, shout out to Bird. But all right, fellas, appreciate it.
All right, Black.
All right, man.
All right, guys. So yeah, since we were that obviously I wanted to kind of ask him about Jackson Bennee before we lost him there, because me and him were talking about it on the phone earlier today. But I guess let's kick into that. I mean, that here's a guy, okay, and I'm really curious from all you guys as well. I mean, he's come out of nowhere, right? So who's maybe somebody that was around the time of you guys being at the U that really just kind of came out of nowhere, shocking everybody, that would have been a walk-on, maybe earning a scholarship and just absolutely blowing up. That was such a pleasant surprise, like Bennee.
Matt Gay. Matt Gay was one person that came out of nowhere. I think he came into a situation where everybody was like, oh, we know who's going to be our starting kicker. We know who's going to be our starting kicker. And Matt Gay came in there, and not that he blew him out the water, but he did well enough to win the job. And then he even won the, what's it called? The Lou Groza Award. So yeah. I think Matt Gay is the first person that pops up into my head when it comes to somebody that came out of nowhere. Yeah, I have to think about that one. But Matt Gay for sure was the first person that came into mind.
For sure. Zack, Derek, who would you guys say? Derek, I got one from your generation in a minute here, man. So I'm curious on your thoughts, but yeah, either of you, who would you guys be thinking of?
I don't even know, honestly. I think obviously Matt, like you said, just to piggyback on that real fast, like Matt was so damn good that you forgot he was a walk-on. Like I didn't even remember that he was a walk-on until he just said that. So like that's how good he was. I don't even know who was the kicker. Obviously, we had Andy, and then I don't know who in the hell was battling for that spot. But after Matt got the job, it was never like
he went to Bingham.
The Bingham kicker.
Yeah,
and he was one of the top kickers in the country too. Which
was it? Oh wait, he was kind of skinnier guy, right?
Yep.
He was a very
good kicker. He was just young.
Damn.
Which since you guys are talking kickers, here's my 2 cents on kickers, okay? And it's something that I've kind of learned from talking with Golden Wetman, an old Utah kicker here and there. But it's to me a lot more valuable to get a kicker that is kicking those long field goals in high school or junior college or wherever, right? And has been tested that way, as opposed to one of those guys that is maybe setting all these points records at their high school, but it's because he's kicking extra point after extra point, or 20 to 30 yard field goal after 20 to 30 yard field goal, right? And to me, that was the very same situation. No knock on the Bingham kicker. I wish I could remember the kid's name. He was a great high school kicker. But yeah, I mean, that's one of those perfect examples of Matt Gay coming in, having that leg, and he ran with it.
Yeah, he damn sure did run with it.
Yeah.
Did very, very well.
Matt,
Alex, who you got? Oh, my bad. Who do you got, Alex? I'm trying to think. Because in our generation, we had such a ragtag group of dudes, man. Like, honestly, like there was just nothing but JC transfers, underrated dudes. Like everyone just kind of seemed like
I got a good one though. I got a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it was his name. I think it was. So correct me if I'm wrong because I can describe to you like his background, but it was Afa Garrigan, the one that used to be the punter that turned into the starting linebacker.
Oh,
Afa, yeah.
Or you're talking about Kepa. Yeah, you're talking about Kepa.
Yeah. Kepa Geisen. That's right.
Yeah, that was like he came in before me, but that was one that stood out to me as like a dude that was a walk-on that like no one expected anything. Like you said, he was a punter from Hawaii. Like
guys, this guy was a beast.
And on a good day.
I got another one.
Go.
I got another one. Well, one, Chaden Johnson was the kicker's name because you guys play his name. I want to put some respect on Chaden Johnson.
He was a good kicker. You just happened to go up against Matt Gay.
Yeah. Second off, good friend of mine. He played very well at the end of his career. He didn't get a chance to play too much, but I remember, I don't know if you guys remember our bowl game against West Virginia. Troy Williams took his cleat off for this guy to get in. Drew Lisk.
Oh, that's right.
Great player at Utah. He always did very well. But, what I'm saying, he just, had the luck of being behind some great quarterbacks at Utah. But, yeah, I'd say Drew Lisk was another player that, I'm saying, a lot of fans didn't know how good he was until he got a chance to play at the end of his career. And, I'm saying, and they praised him at the end. And I'm happy he got that because I remember we would do these when we were at Utah in the summer, we would have like these 7-on-7 camps with like a lot of the high schools in the area and like out of state and things like that. So, he went to, I think it was Jordan High School, and they would show up and they'd be like, oh, like this is Jordan's hero talking about Drew Lisk. And I was like, wow, like he's the man, And yeah, he was really, I didn't know how good he was in high school until the kids were talking about him. So I definitely had a lot of respect for him. And
when he was in high school and he committed to Utah, I was actually surprised that he didn't go to like a G5 or a G5 or something, right? Because he was talented, and as soon as he committed, I told everybody, I was like, look, like this isn't your typical walk-on quarterback. This kid's a stud. He proved it. I mean, he ended up playing a bunch.
Yeah, got a chance to play at the end, and I'm happy he did because he definitely deserved it
for sure. So
Chase Hansen, let me throw that out there.
Oh, was Chase a walk-on?
No, Chase was a 4-star kid.
According to ChatGPT, right? I was like, I got to contribute to this conversation somehow, right? Could be super wrong, but it was like. Usually ChatGPT isn't wrong much, right?
Have you seen Chase Hansen's high school highlights?
Chase was a 4-star high school.
Was
he listed as a safety or a dual threat quarterback back then? I can't
He
remember.
looked like Tim Tebow in high school.
Stay with me. He originally joined as a walk-on quarterback. That's what it says, right?
Chat, okay. I have less confidence in AI right now.
Yeah, maybe just use your memory next.
Well, I don't even like pay attention to high school. Like once guys got there, like I remember they talked about Chase playing quarterback, but like I never seen a clip of him even playing quarterback ever to this day. Like the only person I've ever seen a clip of in high school that played here was Covey. That was probably the only person I've ever seen high school clips of actually playing high school football. Everybody else, I probably never watched.
Covey's high school clips were like video games. They were unreal, dude.
Yeah,
they were unreal.
And I think that's why I watched it, because people kept telling, that's about that.
Yeah, it's fair. You just care more about your teammates, all right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll know. Yeah. Whatever. What a guy who is.
Well, we all would get one blunder. We all get one.
Oh, that's right.
I'll take my one now.
Derek, you saw Chase play quarterback. That kid was a stud at quarterback, huh?
Yeah. Chase was legit. Played at Lone Peak. Yeah, he was money.
Why didn't he stay playing quarterback? Who was the quarterbacks that he came in with that he couldn't essentially outperform?
Travis.
It's a Kyle Whittingham coach team, so we've all seen that he takes the best athletes and puts them on defense, right?
Yeah. Who were the quarterbacks though? I kind of want to know this now.
When Chase came out of high school, Travis, right?
Let's see. Yeah, I want to say it was Travis's time. I'm gonna pull this up here real fast. 1 second.
Now, who was right before Travis? Because I think because Chase came back.
Was it Jordan? Let's see.
From his mission? When Chase came back from his mission.
Yeah, we've like flip-flopped because I went on my mission when he was coming in, and then when I came back, he left on his. I'm pretty sure.
He graduated what,
12? That's right. So he redshirted in 2012.
Okay.
So I think he got into a couple games and still redshirted in 2012. And then he was back his first time he really played. Welcome to a lot of Utah football players. His first time was 2015, graduated in 2018. So 15 was that was Travis, right?
Yeah.
Travis, and then on into to Troy and then Huntley.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it like that, Chase handing the ball off to you, he probably would have pulled it. So
actually, now you think about it, I was like, that is actually weird as hell. I'm like, damn, did he ever take like emergency quarterback reps? I'm like, I can't remember him ever doing anything quarterback wise.
He probably did in practice, but never.
He did. I know he just done that because he played safety and then he moved down to linebacker.
Yeah.
Like he kept flipping, flopping with that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm trying to. Anyways, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So all right, guys. So with Wyoming coming up this week, okay. Utah's got Texas Tech the following week. It's going to be the big noon kickoff. That was some of the big news that has just come out for everybody. We're recording this on a Monday night, so that's where we're referencing that. Still, though, I mean, Kyle is very well aware of Wyoming. He's not going to let the team overlook any of that stuff. And I'm going to tell you something else that they used to drop other than just beer in a bit. But it's a crazy place that everybody would go play back in the day. So it's easy to kind of overlook when you're looking when you got a huge game the following week. Okay. Mm-hmm. What's maybe in you guys' mind one of the games that one of the teams that you guys would have overlooked that you kind of sit back now and just have all this regret to? Maybe you guys were able to pull off the win and it just took a lot more, or maybe it was just something that just really just kind of caught you guys out of nowhere and you guys took the L.
I mean, there's probably games that I would say that we played that I feel like we should have won, but anybody we overlooked, I don't know if we ever overlooked anybody, but I feel like in the 4 years we were there, I don't think we ever like just completely blew out an FCS school. I think our freshman year we played Southern Utah and we won by like 20 points. And then we played like Weber a couple times, and we played, I think our last year we played, what was it, Idaho State. And that game was, I think we were up like 30 before the end of the game, but I don't think we ever like just like completely demolished any of the FCS schools. Like I think the Weber State game, I think it was our sophomore or junior year, that game was close in the first half, and the second half we pulled away. So I would say, I don't know about overlooked and then took an L, but definitely things like that where we probably could have played better throughout the whole duration of the game.
Sure. Zach, Derek, any thoughts from you guys on any of yours?
Yeah. I don't think we ever just blew out a team in FCS play. I remember we played San Jose State a few times. The Southern Utah game. That was actually really a struggle. Was that 16? That was 2016.
Yeah, 16. We only won like by.
Yeah, that was
20.
That was a struggle game for sure for a lot of different reasons. I didn't even play that game, but I remember that game vividly. I don't know. I feel like our offense was never super explosive. Mm-hmm. Which when you play those type of teams, you usually get the big explosive plays really fast. And that's why I think I kept referencing, not that UCLA is a lesser school, but mainly just thinking about Cal Poly. Like obviously we saw the pick six, right? That's the big explosive play on defense. We saw a tip pass that got caught for a pick, got down to the one. That's essentially an explosive for the defense, right? Getting a big turnover like that and putting the offense in prime position to score points right before the half, because they struggled at that before the halftime up until that game as well. I think our offense was never really explosive in that sense of just like throwing the ball downfield, 50-yard, 40-yard touchdowns, guys running up the catch, doing a lot of things. We always played, a dink and dunk type of a game where it took 10, 12, 15 plays some damn time. So I think that's why we never really essentially blew people out. I mean, the other team never scored much either, so we never really worried about that part from the defense. But yeah, I don't think we ever overlooked anybody. I think the NIU game for me kind of sticks out as a team that was really damn hard. Like, it was weird. Like, they were physical as hell. They talked a lot.
Yeah.
Their fan base was right up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a night game. We didn't know much about these guys offensively or defensively. Like, we didn't know essentially what we were walking into. We pulled it out, but it was an ugly win. Like, I came out of that game with like a ankle sprain. Dude's literally trying to twist my ankle on the ground. Like, he's literally twisting my ankle on the ground. I knew two of those guys that played for that school. One was a corner and one was a linebacker. So, like, I was looking forward to it from, like, seeing guys I grew up with. But, like, outside of that game was hard as shit. Like, wasn't nothing easy. Like, we couldn't throw the ball to save our life, and we damn sure could barely run it. I don't know what the score was, but I don't even think we scored more than 20 points that game. Like,
yeah, I think we did a home and home with them in 2017 or 2018, 2019. I think we played there first, and the game there was like 19-12 or something like that. If you can look it up, Zack. But the game at home, I think we did a lot better the year after, and I think. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think I remember that game being
we did do a home. 19, we won 35-17, which isn't a score that screams I'm being, it was still.
But the year before it was close.
This game comes off a lot like that NIU for you guys, to me, because Laramie is one of those kind of places. I think they play at 6 o'clock kickoff. It's kind of like quote unquote trap game because it's already been announced that Big Noon's coming the following week. They know Texas Tech is there. And so as hard as you want to try, like, that you got to go to Laramie. And once they go there, it's kind of like, Pullman? You know how, like, when you played Washington State, you had to fly into, like, Moscow, Idaho? I don't know. And then, like, we stayed in, like, a Motel 6 in Moscow, Idaho. Like, we played USC the week before. We were at, like, the Four Seasons, and then we go to Motel 6 in Moscow, Idaho, play Washington State. Like, it's it's demoralizing in some way when you have to travel like that. And, as bad as that sounds, I think they might have a little bit of that. That might be the biggest struggle, is more the internal mental battle with this team of, like, man, we have to go to Laramie and getting there. And they probably aren't going to be fully expecting that the fans are going to be right there on them. They're going to be drunk. They got to go walk right past them when they are going out to the field, when they're going into halftime. And those Cowboys are going to be throwing beer on them if things have not changed. They've changed much up there. And so that, to me, is what I'm looking to see, how this team handles adversity. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like a 35-17 type of game. I mean, Wyoming has won both of their games. They played Akron, and
defense is good too so far.
Right. And they're going to play that effort ball and like physical ball, right? And that's kind of the culture up there. And so I suspect that they're going to come with that. It'll be fun to see how we approach that from an offensive line perspective. How do we get physical with these physical guys? We held out two of our offensive linemen from this last game. Hopefully that does well for them. And I'm looking forward to seeing, can we play physical with physical? Can we take the fight to them in their own building and handle business? I think this will speak a lot to the maturity level of the team on how we handle it. And so that's probably the biggest takeaway with, like, Wyoming and what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, Terrell, Zack, let's since Derek was bringing it up that way, let's kind of kick over into that. We got a little bit longer here. Don't want to keep you guys too long. But yeah, what are you guys expecting out of this game? What do you guys want to see? What do you think will take place?
I hate hearing trap game, but I definitely understand what you're saying because I've seen it online. I've seen people talking about it. But I mean, I don't think I've ever gone into any game expecting to lose. And now being a fan and supporter of Utah football, I don't think I'm going into any game that they play this season expecting them to lose. I think I'm always gonna, hope for the best and wish that they win and play well. Obviously, I think you should approach within reason, every team the same way, like we were talking about overlooking and things like that. But I think they're going to be primed for this opportunity to go out there and play the best of their abilities. I think a lot of people are probably going to look at them like we're saying right now, like that they may be looking to big noon kickoff the week after and things like that. But as a whole, I think they're going to do well. I don't have a score prediction, I would say, but maybe like a 31-10 type of game. Hard fought, but definitely well known of who was the enforcer during the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah. I mean, obviously you can look at it and think it's a trap game for sure. Like that's always something you gotta look at when you're playing a team that you feel is probably lesser than what you're going up against. But still, I think when you look at the coaching staff is all guys that have been there for a very long time. They obviously also know what it's like to go down there and play down there. And these guys, I go back to Snowden and Dampier talking about statement games and things of that nature. I think they understand what they want to do this year, and when you have two of your best players, like I said before, like two of your best players leading that and then going into a press conference and saying that into the media, right? Like they understand the expectations now they put on themselves when you go out and say something like that. So going down there, obviously it'll be good because when they go and play conference games and they got to go to these hostile environments, this is a good way, and I think it was perfectly scheduled to get this third game, right, to go down there. UCLA, when you play UCLA, it's never packed, right? It's California. You can watch the game almost anywhere in the world. Like, you don't have to be at the stadium, right, to watch the game. Like, there's so many different places you can watch it. So, like, when you play there, you don't get a real environment. Like, I think we took over most of that fan base and the crowd anyways. So it was like they were seeing red. So they felt at home. Like, that was a home game to those guys. And then obviously last week being at home, felt like they got off to a weird little start, a lot of penalties in the first half. So I think the main thing is you want to fix that when you go down there. You don't want to get behind the chains and now allow the crowd to play into that type of stuff. I think they'll jump out really fast on those guys, honestly. I think the offense, when you're playing a physical team like that, and the way they spread the ball and spread guys out, you don't get a chance to be really physical when guys getting spread out like that. I think the run game is going to be something that's probably really prevalent. I think Coach Witt is probably going to want to see both the backs get a conference ready because they haven't had a ton of workload. Probably both of those guys combined have probably had maybe 35 carries combined in 2 games. So they haven't had a big workload. Then you had the one fumble in UCLA week. So I think obviously the physicality, yes, is going to be there, but it's going to be diminished. I think Beck is going to understand how to get the ball out and spread those guys out. And I think we have better athletes overall. And then the run game, as long as the run game is what we're used to, and I think the offensive line is really good, obviously, so you don't have to really worry about that type of stuff. They've dominated everybody they play. I don't think that's going to stop with the Wyoming front. But yeah, like I said, I think mentally those guys understand what is need to be done. Obviously, I think when you throw out the big noon kickoff, that can easily make you stop and be like, I got to get ready for that game, right? It's going to be, it's national TV, all this type of stuff. You got, the big time announcers coming into your stadium and stuff like that. So you can easily miss this week. And that's the trap game that people keep talking about. But when you have a coach-led team, you got guys who also have played in hostile environments before. They'll be ready to go. They'll be fine. This will be another week to just really look really, really crisp. I think the main things is we're going to see the DBs get tested a little bit more because they do give up a lot of cushion when they run their routes. Like, they do give up a lot of cushion. They're a young group, and they got a lot of depth at that position. I think is really, really good. But still, they do have some things they put on film already that can be, not essentially exploited. Because like I said, I think we have the better athletes overall and the better coaches. But those are things that could happen in the game where now you got to make this one-on-one tackle in space, right? And those can be game-changing plays. But I don't see them scoring more than 10 points versus us on defense, and I can see the offense. Dampier is playing at a chance to be on a Heisman level type of quarterback, and I think guys know that, right? Because it's not something that just in the media, like you talk about it in the locker room as well. Like, and I think guys know what type of caliber player they have. Like, it's not a guy that's he just transferred in. It's 1 year, NIL money. Like, no, you got a dude who is really poised, really understands the game, has been in his offense, and the coaches have put him in the right position. So I think they'll be fine. It's not a trap game. It's nothing to worry about, honestly. Obviously, the trap game is going to be 10 o'clock, big noon kickoff when they got to play Tech, because that really is going to tell you. And again, like, we do it, right? We kind of talk about the Wyoming game, but you kind of want to skip by it and get to that big Texas Tech game. But that's going to be the game where we really see what we have, like, in every single facet. Like, yes, Dampier has played really, really good versus these first two schools, but when it's a home game, everybody's looking at you. It's early as hell. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. The game is 10 a.m. kickoff. All those different changes that guys, they haven't done yet. They haven't played a 10 o'clock game, right? All these different things that you got to worry about, like your schedule changes, your routine changes, all this different stuff. And then you're going to be traveling back from what a lot of people expect to be a physical game. All these things you got to think about. But again, I think they get out of that game hopefully early so the guys can sit down the rest of that fourth quarter and get ready for the next week.
Yeah, you talked about two things I kind of want to ask you guys about, and then I want to do just a couple over-unders here, and then we can get out of here. And then, Zach, I got a thing I want to ask you about Terrell here. Additionally, on all this stuff, Terrell, we really appreciate you being on, man. I know that it's a crazy schedule for you right now with, balancing the stuff with the Saints. But Zach's doing this, and I'm sure that he's talked to you a little bit about it, but he's doing this episode called The Player's Lair, right? Just a little deeper conversation with some past teammates and everything, or even like guys that he would have had some association with in the NFL that like might be playing their teams that week, So just kind of varying it throughout the season and everything, just having fun with it. But I'd love to be able to get you on. Maybe you guys have already talked about it for this week. Maybe it's something we can get you on in the next, in the coming weeks, and just have that deeper conversation, because your story, man, is just it's so damn cool, and it's so damn unique, because you don't see guys like you stick through and make a lot out of it anymore, right? A lot of times in the situations that you were in, plenty of those guys would have not trusted the process and just gone on to the next opportunity, right? And so you're just such an awesome story with all that I know so many people just have been so proud of you and just would love to hear, just that much more to it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. But so the two things I kind of want to ask you guys before the over-unders, okay? One, Devon Dampier, Zack, you just talked about him and how he's getting some of that Heisman love and that Heisman hype. This is going to be something that we're hopefully talking about more and more as the season goes on and what he needs to keep doing. But it's early in the season. He's had those 2 games. He did what he could within a limited amount of time this last game. What does he need to do going forward to stay on that trajectory? And what kind of season do the Utes even need to have to keep him remaining in that conversation?
Okay, I'll go because Zack takes a little longer to think about it. I'll answer. I think I'm a big believer in you got to believe yourself before anybody else will, and I think we have seen so far from him coming from the school he was New Mexico till now to here at Utah. I think he definitely believes in himself, and I think that's what you want in your quarterback. You want your quarterback to be confident. You want him to go out there, and you want, as a defense, as a team, you want to believe that your quarterback will be able to make a play at any time. And I think he's done just that. And as long as he just keeps knowing that his best will always be good enough, he will, he'll never waver away from that. And I think, to answer your question, like, what does he need to do? I think he just needs to keep being himself. I think he needs to, keep doing what he's allowed to do within the scheme. Obviously, make plays with his feet, with his arm, all as a whole. And I think if he does that, he'll definitely stay in the conversation for that big award over there in college football and things like that. Because that would be a great honor for him, his family, and for the school. So I think just for him to just stay in line, keep doing what he's doing, and don't try and do, don't try and be outside of himself. Like, his best is good enough and more than enough. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he does for the next
week. What does the team need to do? Like what kind of success does the team need to have in order for him for them to be able to keep him on that level and give him that platform?
Well, I don't. If I'm being honest with you, I feel like for some reason Utah doesn't get the respect that we deserve. Right. I'm going to say we because I went there, and I think even when we were there and till now, I don't think that Utah has ever really gotten the respect they deserve. But what I'm saying, that's what opportunities bring. They bring opportunity. That's what preparation brings. It brings opportunities to be able to show the world. Obviously, sometimes we play night games, so people aren't watching, Pac-12 after dark type things like that. But now in the Big 12 and things like that. But I think obviously people are gonna only respect his quote unquote candidacy if he continues to help the team win. And as long as we keep winning, I think that's something like, obviously, results are what it's going to be. So him helping the team win and the team keep winning is what's going to definitely help his candidacy. So just keep playing hard and never wavering from the fact that they're meant to be in this position and to keep going.
Yeah. What does he need to do? He just has to continue to, like Terrell said, like, be himself. Like, that's the main thing. Like, obviously, he's going to see, everything on social media about early Heisman hype and things of that nature. But the main thing is he needs to continue to be himself because that's what's allowed him to have his name in these type of conversations anyways. And I don't think he is going to waver from any of that type of stuff. I only heard about him being a certain type of a leader and super humble and things of that nature. So I don't think people have to worry about anything with that. But I do think, obviously, what the team needs to do to help him stay there, right? We've seen a lot of players have, Heisman type seasons to some degree with the numbers maybe, but then there's no team success. So I think, obviously, the guys around him have to step up. And the main thing is the receiving group, right? Because when you're talking about the guys that he's going to go up against, guys like quarterbacks from LSU's and all these type of different schools, SEC schools, right? They're going to essentially have the numbers, right? So you can't be a 2,500-yard quarterback, 800 rushing yards, and there's not going to be any Heisman, hype behind that. He's probably going to need to be in that 3,000 range, maybe with 1,000 plus as well, rushing, just to be there because of the aspect also of Utah not having that respect that's we should have, right? But they don't have that respect when it comes to awards and different things like that. Now they have it when it comes to kicking. Right?
Yeah.
We won a lot of kicking awards and punting and stuff like that. So that part is fine, but everybody's gonna need to have to step up, right? I think, like I keep talking about, the explosive plays, the big plays. He's gonna have to have the numbers, and I think style points, right? Like, Utah is gonna have to beat people like by a lot. Like, there's going to need the plus minus. There's going to need to really stack up against some other schools that he's going to be going against. And I think that's the main thing. That's the best way the guys can help him, right? Is allow him to create the plays, right? Because he can't do anything without those guys, right? Offensive line has been playing really stellar. The running backs have been efficient. Just the receiving room really hasn't taken that next step into allowing him to get those games, because these first 2 games is kind of where you want to be, where you can get 300 passing yards, right? Cal Poly could have had about, 250 in the first half, essentially, if there was a few more plays made down the field that we just didn't get, but he threw it, right? So when you get those big plays, you got to make them for him. And like I said, I think guys know that. I think guys know the type of player they're playing with and for. He's definitely a player that I get the vibe that guys are playing for him, right? Especially when you think about the NIL stuff with all the turnover, the team being, a little bit over 50% new, and all these guys not really knowing each other. Like you said, like with Terrell, like guys don't stay at schools anymore. Like guys are, and it doesn't even matter if they do play really good, right? As a first-year player, second-year player, they still leave because of the money. So, like, I think he's one of those guys that guys are playing for, which is, something you really got to think about when you think about all the NIL turnover from the financial standpoint of things. But as long as the guys go out there and make plays for him, he stays healthy and he continues to be himself, there's nothing that they can't do. And obviously, like I said, style points. I think that's the biggest thing, because Utah is going to have to win a certain way. Like, they can't beat teams, 17-10, right? Texas Tech game. You beat Texas Tech 17-10, it's not going to look the same if, Arch Manning or Gus Meyer goes and beats, Georgia 17-10. It looks totally different. It feels different from the media. And they're going to have to go out there and really put up a lot of points and be one of the best offenses, which right now they are on track to continue to do that. Hopefully, they've been really good in the red zone. I think they've scored every single time in the red zone so far. So style points is the biggest thing, and health, and obviously, guys making those big plays for them.
Completely agree with both of you guys on all that stuff. Utah is just one of those teams that just doesn't get that respect enough, and it's crazy to see. What is weird, Kate, and that's when it comes to the individual stuff, okay? Because, like, for instance, with the AP poll right now, and I was talking to some BYU fans that, they're kind of hurt right now, and you guys can probably both sit back and chuckle at it because, they're basically the rival, but same time too, they're kind of hurt because they feel like they aren't getting the respect after coming off a really good season and then starting off 2-0 now, and they've given up 3 points in 2 games. The fact of the matter is whether people like it or not, there still is that recency bias, and then also not just the recency bias, right, but where teams have built up that credibility and that track record over time. Because you look at it, and Utah struggled last year, but everybody knows why. Everybody knows the typical Utah. And, when everybody starts seeing it early on and there's reason for excitement, and all of a sudden there's an offense to go along with that defense, they're in the top 5. They're in the top 25. It doesn't matter. They're going to start jumping teams like BYU and this and that, and then, again, it's just that psychological thing, and then let it play out over time. But again, when it comes to the individual awards on the national level, that is that much more difficult, and so completely agree with you guys on all that stuff. The other question I was going to ask you guys, hey, I'm kind of looking ahead, right? And so I'm not fully going to ask you guys on this. I'm just going to mention it just as a thought process kind of thing, because to me, Utah is very unique when it comes to night games, right? The whole Pac-12 after dark, where I get a little bit more concerned with Utah, and I want to see like the record around this time. But the day games, I feel like Utah at Rice Eccles is a little bit more susceptible. They're a little bit
trap games. Those are trap games.
Yeah,
but more year against Arizona State at 30-0 or something like that. So yes, I would say we haven't done too well in day games. However, what does the past have to do with the present?
Right.
When we was in the Pac-12, the past had a lot to do with the present.
You're right, but
I think now being the second year in the Big 12, they've played the day games, right? I don't know if they've played a 10 o'clock a.m. game, but they've played the day games, right? A little bit earlier and things of that nature. But still, like I said, like when you got big noon kickoff coming in, you got certain people coming in to watch this game, and your game now is going to be, one of the first games on all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you turn that TV on, right? If you can't get up for that type of a game, right? Like if you as a player, if you can't get up and for that game and have everything ready, having the juices flowing that you need to be flowing with, then I don't know what to tell you. Like it's a conference game. It's your first conference game of the year. You get one of the biggest stages you can get right now early in the year. There's not a lot of injuries, really, hopefully, that are stopping guys from playing. So it's like you're going to be damn near, at full strength. They're going to be the same, and they're coming into your house. It's definitely something that you think about, just like the day games, because it has been something in the past. But I think for me mentally, like thinking about the Pac-12 games being at night, it just felt normal because we've done it for so long. And then like you hang around the hotel all damn day watching all the other games, and then you like finally we the last ones to go, and then it's like boom, you ready to go, right? But when we had those few day games, like, and we always play Arizona State, weirdly enough, at an earlier time. Like we went to Arizona State one year. That's the game Snoop broke his collarbone. I think we ended up losing that game still. But that was a day game. It was hot. Then we played them at home the year before that in 2017 and got killed. That was a day game. So it's like those day games back then definitely just threw your routine off because you'll have, say 6 or 7 night games. And then out of nowhere, they just throw a, let's let you guys play at 2:00. Like that was definitely tough for sure.
Yeah. They're going to be all right. They're going to figure it out. But first, Wyoming.
Yeah.
First Wyoming. Hey, we can overlook it a little bit, right? The team can't, and we all know that the team is not going to overlook it. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to it, I think it was Blechen and Derek talking about beers being poured down on players. Okay. At halftime and all that stuff. What I can tell you guys is Wyoming is bad enough that there is more than just beer that is put in things and dropped on former players. Wow. So just use that to your imagination. Okay?
Well,
that place is wild. It's so wild. I don't miss going to that stadium. I still remember back in 2004 when Utah went to the Fiesta Bowl and the lights went out at one point in the game, and Urban was just freaking out because they were like trying to figure all these different ways that they were going to have to delay the game and like play it the next day or play it like after everything was all said and done. And everybody knew just where Utah was at with that season and how crucial it was. And he's like, no, we're finishing this now. I don't care if we have to bring in portable lights, any of that stuff. We're finishing this game tonight. It was ugly. Like that just, I don't know. It's such a unique place. And Laramie, man, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Laramie. I was so glad to have it. As Jim McMahon used to say about Provo, Utah, his favorite thing about Provo, Utah, and BYU was having it in his rearview mirror, right? So I was so glad to have Laramie in my rearview mirror, and now they're back doing one of those just uncharacteristic non-conference G5 games, which good for Wyoming for being able to have it. And I think it's going to be good experience for Utah, but man, that's just one of those places that's just it's unique, boys.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll be locked.
What's that?
I said I'll be locked in.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. It's I think the guys are going to come to play. I don't think that they're going to be overlooking anything. So let's wrap this up on some over-unders, okay? So we're kind of talking about the points and everything. What are you guys taking? Now, first off, for everybody, Derek had to jump off. He's heading to the airport. Had to make the wife happy and not rush her, right? So so he's out on these over-unders. But over-under 40 points for Utah.
I'll go under.
Okay.
I'll go under.
Terrell?
I think for the sake of the conversation, I'm going to say over. But
So you can have some
said
bragging
under.
rights that happens with Zack.
Yeah, really just for that. For the competition with Zack, because like, why would I be with him, here? But yeah, I gave my score prediction, but I'm gonna say over. I think they're gonna come out and play even better than they have been the last couple of weeks.
Okay, I'm gonna go over, but at the same time too, Zack, where I can totally side with you on a lot of these things. I want to say I can't remember the exact amount of points, but Wyoming's tied for second in the country right now with the least amount of points given up defensively.
Oh wow,
looking pretty good right now. I'm looking pretty good. I'm sitting good right now.
So
for them,
I think it's different this week. I don't think they're gonna know what's coming with them with Utah's offense. I think Utah's gonna be able to surprise them, keep them off balance, and I think I feel good. I feel good with saying the over. Terrell, you should feel good, but Zack might get us on this one, man.
Hey, all I need is 38. I don't need no more than that. Just give me the 38.
38. Over under Dampier throwing for 250 yards.
Over.
I'm gonna say over because that means somebody's going deep. I mean, I would go against you. Don't get me wrong, but that means somebody's catching this ball a little bit further than 10 yards and getting more. So I'm looking forward to that. That's what I want to see. So I'll say over for that reason.
Over.
Okay, I'm gonna say over too, and here's why. Like I want to go against you guys on this and say under, but here's why I'm gonna say over. Okay, Zack, you and Cal have talked about having certain plays put on tape. Okay, just to keep other teams up at night and have them prepare for it. Okay, I think that's extremely crucial against Texas Tech to have something like that on there for them to just have to game plan that much more. So I do think that Utah is going to make that effort to, put up that many more yards and try to go deep that much more. Okay. Let's see. Over under two turnovers for Utah's defense.
You can do 1.5. I'm going to say over. I think they're going to do some ball searching this week. I think they're going to, get a couple forced fumbles, maybe have Wyoming's quarterback throw a pick, just based off of their style of play. They're disguising over there at Utah. I think I'm going to say over.
I'll go under on the turnovers. I think they'll get one, and it'll be a lot more punts. I think it'll be a game of field position when it comes to that. I think the way they play on defense, like you said, like they're one of the more stingier defenses. So I think it won't be a ton of turnover. I think it'll be clean ball. I think they'll get one, right? They had a few last week, so asking for another 2, I don't know, might be a little pushy.
I don't know. I think we preach something over there on the defense. I'm not going to say, something called but I don't know. I'm not really liking the way, this all-time Utah running back is talking right now. I think
it's all in the win.
He doesn't have much belief in us. So I'm going over. Regardless of what he's saying, I'm going over.
Dude, Terrell, man, you know what I'm loving so far is, this whole platform is giving everybody a voice to, be a cheerleader of the school, talk them up, but at the same time too, like point out, like areas where, they could question a little bit, but they still have confidence that they're going to end up being all right, and that's something that, Zack has done great with. I know Cal has done great with it. Some of the other guys pointing things out. So, we'll maybe have you on a little later in the season too. And you're going to be pointing some of those things out too, right? Because
and that's why I started with the DBs at the beginning of the podcast, because I think that's always going to be something that I'll be critical of. Not that I was just all-time DB at Utah or anything like that. But I was able to play with some special guys throughout the 4 years that we were there in college, and I think that's always going to be something I'll pay attention to.
It's a high standard.
Yeah, it's a high standard, and I think I'll always have confidence in them, but I think that's always going to be something that I'll pay attention to. So as for right now, I'm excited to see how they do. And I'm taking, a little punch out from one of the DBs, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens.
All right, guys. Hey, so we have gone so over on this. And, I just love that. I know that there's going to be plenty of people still riding all the way through from start to finish on this because, again, they don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from you guys, and they're loving every second that they've been able to get with you guys on this stuff. Terrell, we really appreciate it, man. Zack, Appreciate it as always. Looking forward to seeing what we got going with the players there this week as well, coming out, and maybe a day or two after this one as well. So, boys, anything else you guys want to say before we end this thing?
I'm good.
Said enough, huh?
Man of many words right there. I just want to say go Utes. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of respect. Appreciate you guys for listening. Appreciate you guys for having me on here, Alex and Zack. I don't know why it says Zemo there. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys for having me. It was definitely a pleasure to be able to, come on here and talk Ute football, talk life and things with you guys. And I'm excited to watch, the games in the near future.
Hey, we'll take you on as much as you can be on, man, and love to have you on the Players Lair with Zack in the next little bit, just having that deeper conversation, man, because you're such an inspiration to so many people, and the fans absolutely love you, and just such a great story, man.
I appreciate it. I love the fans, love you guys. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys. It feels good.
Good luck to the Saints this year, and Zack, man, how do we always end this?
Man, you always got to make sure you guys continue to like and subscribe, and make sure you guys are following us on Spotify, Apple Pod. We muchly appreciate it. You don't want to miss the future upcoming topics that we're going to have.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys.
I'll do that.
All right. Hey, until next time. Thank you, boys.
Absolutely. Go Utes.
Thanks, fans.
Welcome to the Players Lair. Yeah. When all the moment, man, it can't compare.